Hello and welcome to TV9 Digital. I'm Abhijit Singh Bhamra and you're watching our special edition Target Tokyo. It's day 7 of Tokyo Olympics and we have a lot of results to discuss. And to discuss about the results in context to India and international, I have with me TV9 Digital sports editor Sandeep. Sandeep, thanks a lot for coming to the studios.
Thank you.
It's, like I said, it's day 7, plenty of action, but we'll start off with something which is close to your heart, the hockey. Japan thrashed by India 5-3, the right scoreline. We were talking about that, India might be a little defensive in terms of scoring, but they just went all out.
I think what you saw was basically both the teams attacking.
Yeah.
I think in a way, Graham Reed probably, he kept Rupinder out, he kept Mandeep out, basically resting them for the quarterfinals. But at the same time, he must have told the team, okay, fine, take a full rein, go, play the kind of stuff that you want, take in the flanks, take the midfield, and play a game that you really would want to, without the coach telling you, okay, you're going to be doing this maneuver, this is the structure. In a way, there was no structure. But at the same time, you got to give a huge amount of credit to Japan, who came in. At one stage, we were leading 3-2. They could have easily equalized 2-2. They had plenty of chances, in fact.
There was 2-2.
Yeah. And then, there were this whole circle penetrations where we were actually stronger because we move in faster. We are much faster on the counter. And Japan didn't want to have a 6, 7, 8 scoreline. They don't want to look at that.
Yeah.
But overall, I think Reed should be happy. Reed should be extremely pleased going into the quarterfinals that the team is kind of gelling.
Well.
And the best part was that the centre forwards were getting the goals, which we have been actually criticizing that, they are not getting the goals. And you had Gurjant probably scoring 2.
Couple,
yeah, and I think Neelakanta also came up from the midfield, banged in 1 goal.
Yeah.
So I think overall a fantastic result going into the quarters.
We move into the quarters now. What is the kind of confidence the team will be taking forward?
A lot of people will talk about the 7-1, the whole scoreline is like that.
Yes.
Okay. But
it's like a scar on your...
Yeah, but this is a professional team. Australia is a professional team. I can bet, if these two teams come up in a semi-final, for example, or let's say, even in a final, the scorelines are going to be different.
Okay.
Because you go back 3-4 years, this kind of a scoreline was last seen in 76 between India and Australia.
Yeah,
it was one of those days. This is a professional outfit who understands that there are off days, who understands that they're going to bounce back, who understands this is what we did and this is what we shouldn't be doing when we next meet them.
Yeah.
I think in a way, it was a testing time. In a way, it was a wake-up call. And I think after that, if you really see them against Argentina, against Spain, against Japan, they have been a much compacter side than what they were that day. So, in a way, that 7-1 probably came as a blessing in disguise, if you want to call it that. It was a good thing it happened. We are still number 2 in the pool. We are already number 2 in the pool. So we're going to
stay at...
Yeah, we're going to stay at 2 and then we play whoever comes.
Currently, it's Great Britain, but things can change very quickly. But Japan's border was breached by India not once, but twice today, courtesy of PV Sindhu, who eventually defeated Akane Yamaguchi from Japan in straight games. The second game was much closer, 22-20, but she took the first game 21-13 in just 56 minutes. A good game for PV Sindhu. Now she faces the Chinese Taipei.
I think it was splendid. You watched PV Sindhu. We've been seeing her for 4 years. Yeah. Since that 2016, we've been seeing her in the World Championships. We're seeing her at various tournaments. I think overall what you see about her now is the entire court craft that she brings in.
Yes.
The Japanese opponent was nowhere in the first one, but in the second, I think they started the high tosses because that's where they can catch her. That's where they probably thought there could be a weak link. There was, in fact, 2 points ahead. The game could have gone anywhere. But, that's where Sindhu's experience, Sindhu's hunger, that, this is the time to go in. This is the time to reach a final and do something, what was not accomplished in 2016.
Yeah.
But the most impressive part about Sindhu now is this awareness. This whole awareness that when you stand on a court, it's just not about winning. It's also about dominating. It's also about controlling. It's also about keeping things guessing for the opponent.
Yeah.
And today you saw that.
Yeah.
And I hope this whole form that she's carrying, it goes into the semis.
Yeah, and also you could see, Yamaguchi was 2018 in the second game. She had the game point, but then from there to go on and win those 4 points, like you said, now she's much more aware. But Sindhu was not the only one who made India proud. In Tokyo today, Sandeep, there was someone from Assam, the boxer Lovlina. What a game. She has now assured India of its second medal. The color of the medal is not decided yet. She next faces a very tough task in the form of the Olympic champion next. But then you got to give it to her. Amongst all these superstars, that's the beauty about this Olympics, isn't it? You have these kind of new faces emerging you had Sakshi Malik in 2016. Now you have Lovlina. Yeah. Clearly a proud day for the 23-year-old.
I think the semi-final is going to be interesting from one point, and that is her opponent usually scores off points because of being a technical boxer in that sense, where she comes in, you will see the jab coming in, you will see a hook coming in. That's where Lovlina has the chance, the opportunity to go in. I think she needs to be accumulating points because when you have an opponent who's a technical boxer, it does get difficult. Plus, she's the world champion. And it's just not that she was world champion 5-6 years back. She was recently the world champion. And Lovlina herself is a double world championship medalist. Yeah. So you're going to see a bout where I don't think both boxers are going to take too much chances. And when that happens, whether it's heavyweight or welter or fly, wherever when that happens, when two people are coming in contact in terms of technicality, it becomes a great sight to watch. And I hope that she can accumulate enough points to be taking care and going into a final, because going into a final, I think, is going to be this massive boost for whatever morale we call that, but a massive boost for boxing in India.
Things could have got a little better had Deepika Kumari, the world #1 archer, would have gone on, but she was really up against someone who is really playing possibly the best archery of her life.
I think when the Korean shot 3 10s and she couldn't get those, and she got the 7s and the 8s, and they were consecutive 2 10s also. But I think somewhere in the mind you lose the game. But here is a question that, it's all across social media today, is a question that this is her third Olympics. Yeah. This is where she should be standing up. Yeah. This is where she should have shown that the last 2 experiences are going to be used here. That is the disappointing part. Winning and losing can happen any day, at any time, anywhere, in any tournament. But when you're not using that experience, I think the questions that are going to be asked, whether it is archery or any other event or whichever sport we haven't done well, is that where is that experience weighing in? Yeah. I didn't see that experience weighing in, and that part is extremely disappointing.
You reckon she's crumbling under pressure?
You can call it pressure. I don't call it pressure simply because that is what you need to be tackling. Exactly. It's just not shooting 10s. It's also about pressure. Yeah. And that is what you train for. And when you come in here, you understand that this is going to be a 19-20. This is going to be a 9-10. That kind of a fight. That's where you need to be standing up. And if this was a first Olympics, I'll still understand. Yes. I will still probably, to use a word that I wouldn't want to use, is sympathize. But not right now. I think this was the stage made for third Olympics. Go on to the semis, go on to the final, at least show that this is what the experience you've been carrying. Yeah.
Well, Sandeep, the stage was also made for Indian athletics team as well, the likes of Duti Chand and others. Can you sum up the whole track and field events for us?
Extremely disappointing. Extremely, deeply disappointing. You see them qualifying. Yes. I know it's extremely tough. You don't expect a 100-meter Duti Chand to sail into the semis. It's beyond comprehension. Sometimes you can't even imagine. Right. If you want to sit down and imagine a semi-final, you can't. Yeah. But not to do your personal best or run close to it. 11:20, 11:21, 11:19, 11:18 would still have been decent enough. But to do 54, I thought was that's not what the athlete comes here for. Yeah. And to see Jabir struggling was another disappointing sight. If he would have done the timing that he did in Patiala, and that also probably in 42, 43, 44 degree heat, I think he would have gone through. Or probably, pushed opponents. Or probably you would have seen him on a TV screen in India. Fans would have seen a guy finishing 4th at least. Not ending up last and struggling through. Now that's a sight that no fan wants to see. That's a sight that no sport wants to see, that, when you want to encourage a particular sport. I think in that it was extremely disappointing. Avinash was the
Lone standout?
the standout who one enjoyed watching, the kind of pace he had and the way he came up.
It was like a breath of fresh air.
And the way he broke the record, that itself shows intent. That itself shows that this is what I came for. I may not be good enough to be in the final or probably be on the stage, but I'm good enough to be in this company with these big athletes and break my record.
Now, Sandeep, disappointment was turned into a shocker with the exit of world number 1 Novak Djokovic, and that too by someone who is extremely talented, but he needs to prove himself by winning Grand Slam. That we'll talk later. But Alexander Zverev beating Novak Djokovic. Do you reckon that in order to beat Djokovic, you need only 3 sets?
I think so. I think that's what it looks like now. That the only way he could have beaten, or Djokovic gets beaten,
the best of 3
is
sets.
the best of 3. But at the same time, I think Djokovic would be deeply disappointed out here, because he came here only for one purpose. Let's assume that he hadn't won one major somewhere. I don't think he would have been here.
Exactly.
He wouldn't probably be bothered about coming to the Olympic Games, not because he didn't want to, but because it's probably not on his chart. But to come here and not get the golden slam is what is going to be bothering him for some time, because then professional athletes easily get over things, and move on.
Disappointments.
But yeah, it's a shocker in a sense. It's a shocker for Djokovic fans. It's a shocker for everybody who's concerned with tennis, and it's great for Zverev to see him win.
Exactly.
Is a great sight, and to see both of them, the camaraderie they had at the nets, where they hugged each other, shows the kind of spirit that's there between tennis players now.
And that was the only thing which was missing from his CV possibly. He has won bronze in 2008, but then he was gunning for gold. But gunning for gold is also the Indian athletes, and many of them will be in action tomorrow as well. The likes of PV Sindhu, and Lovlina has her match on 4th of August. So clearly India's medal tally is assured of now 2 medals after Mirabai Chanu opened the account on day 1. But then it has been a day of disappointments, and now towards the business and towards the end of the tournament or the Olympics, you are looking at few more medal prospects, and the biggest of them all is the Indian badminton queen PV Sindhu, who will be in action tomorrow against Chinese Taipei opponent. Thank you, Sandeep, for your thoughts and inputs. We are looking forward to you once again tomorrow. And that's all what we have for you in this special edition of Target Tokyo. For news and updates from India and around the world, keep watching TV9 Digital. Thanks a lot for watching.